welcome. Temporary relief from deportation for young immigrants brought to the U.S. illegally. South Korean president praises Donald Trump for the thaw between the north and south, and rainstorms unleash a river of mud on parts of Southern California. All that and more ahead at the International Desk. Welcome, I'm Lynda Kinkade in for Robin Kerno. We begin this hour with US President Donald Trump getting ready to hold a cabinet meeting after suffering yet another setback in court on immigration policy. We'll bring you the president's comments as soon as we get them. Overnight, a federal judge blocked his plan to end the so-called DACA program in early March. Now, it protects hundreds of thousands of people who arrived in the US as young children. Mr. Trump is pushing back on the judge's ruling, tweeting that it shows everyone how broken and unfair our court system is when the imposing side in a case such as DACA always runs to the Ninth Circuit and almost always wins before being reversed by higher courts. But this time yesterday, before the ruling, President Trump was pushing for a bipartisan solution and wider immigration reform. Joe Johns has that.
A federal judge blocking the Trump administration's decision to end the Dreamers program on March 5th, ruling that protections must remain in place while pending legal challenges proceed, and ordering the government to resume taking renewal applications. The Justice Department responding that the ruling does not change its position that the Obama-era program is unlawful, asserting that it will continue to defend its position in further litigation. The late-night court surprise coming hours after the remarkable televised meeting between President Trump and bipartisan lawmakers over a potential deal for the Dreamers.
This should be a bipartisan bill. This should be a bill of love. Truly, it should be a bill of love.
President Trump suggesting a compassionate solution, suggesting flexibility.
I think my positions are going to be what the people in this room come up with.
Mr. Trump also signaling an openness to pursuing a larger immigration deal.
If we do this properly, DACA, you're not so far away from comprehensive immigration reform. And if you want to take it that further step, I'll take the heat. I don't care. I don't care. I'll take all the heat you want to give me. And I'll take the heat off both the Democrats and the Republicans.
At times, the president appearing to contradict himself, insisting that border security must be part of any agreement, but also suggesting he is open to a clean DACA bill.
I have no problem. I think that's basically what Dick is saying. We're going to come out with DACA. We're going to do DACA, and then we can start immediately on the phase 2, which would be comprehensive.
House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy interjecting this.
Mr. President, you need to be clear, though. I think what Senator Feinstein's asking here, when we talk about just DACA, we don't want to be back here 2 years later. You have to have security.
It was unclear if border security meant a wall. The White House offering little clarity.
A wall has to be part of a deal in order for these Dreamers to have protection.
Border security does have to be part of this process.
But you understand how
Andrew?
the wall could be different than border security, sir. Border security can mean
actually, I
drones,
don't,
it could
Jim.
mean agents, it could mean more fencing. It doesn't necessarily mean a physical
And that's part of the
wall.
negotiation that we expect Congress to have.
Mr. Trump later tweeting that a wall must be part of any DACA approval. First and foremost, the president's television appearance was seen as an opportunity to put to rest questions about his fitness to serve, which have been raised over the last several days. The administration did put out a statement on the court ruling, calling it outrageous and saying an issue of this magnitude must go through the regular legislative process. Joe Johns, CNN, the White House.
Well, CNN politics reporter Tal Copen joins me now for more on all of this. And Tal, we heard yesterday President Trump telling lawmakers that he wanted a bill of love when it came to immigration, but he was the one who scrapped the Obama policy, which would have saved these young immigrants from deportation. A judge has overruled his move. On what grounds?
So the folks who challenged this move to terminate the DACA program argued that in doing so, the administration used what's the legal term is arbitrary and capricious reasoning to get there. So what they argued is that, the administration said the reason they made this decision was that they were concerned that a group of states might challenge DACA and that it might fail in court and be immediately blocked. And so they decided to terminate it. The plaintiffs in the case, some states, some actually colleges of higher education, some individuals have challenged this law and said that that's not really a basis for revoking such an existing program. The judge sided with them and said, in fact, they might likely to be succeed in that argument, and therefore he blocked the move until they figured that out.
And how this all came after yesterday's big bipartisan meeting, where the White House touted it as success. All sides appeared willing to compromise, at least while the cameras were rolling there. What's the White House saying now?
Well, the White House is actually saying that they still support congressional action. It's kind of interesting to see how the various parties are sort of spinning the ruling. On the one hand, Democrats are saying the ruling is right and should be upheld. Republicans are saying the ruling is wrong and should be overturned. But both are saying that at the end of the day, the logic that Congress should be the one to figure out a permanent fix in this case, that logic still holds. And so for now, you see everyone involved sort of saying, we still need to get to a deal on this in Congress. The question is whether this ruling changes the leverage calculus in some of the negotiations and therefore provides a bit of a wrench as lawmakers try to figure out how to move forward.
And of course, we know, Tal, this afternoon the president will hold a press conference with the Prime Minister of Norway. This will be the first time media has been given full access to the president. Can we expect some more clarity on this policy?
Well, it's a bit hard to predict the results of any Trump press conference, what he'll be asked, what he'll say. So it's really hard to know if we're going to get any more clarity. And, keep in mind, as Joe was talking about in that meeting yesterday, at times he seemed to contradict himself even within the meeting. And, Democrats came out of the meeting saying, it seems like there's some agreement here, but we don't know where Trump is going to be tomorrow. And so there's a sense, especially among Democrats, that they don't feel anything is decided until there's ink on paper and it's on the floor of the House and Senate.
Absolutely. Ink on paper is what is needed. Tal Copen, good to have you with us. Thank you.